How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Fed chair ponders potential for digital dollar to send Bitcoin to zero. U.S. Congressman Stephen Lynch expressed concern Wednesday over the possible impact of the CBDC, asking Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to ponder the potential of a tokenized version of the U.S. dollar to wipe out other digital assets. This shows twofold why he has no idea what he's asking about, because A, Bitcoin was created because no one trusts the dollar because they'll set a limit and increase the limit as they feel like spending, and B, the other digital assets actually have technical use cases for real-world problems. So, he doesn't know what he's talking about, obviously. Lynch's comments came as Powell testified before the House Financial Services Committee. I'm worried about a lot of these stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies, he said. Do they go to zero when we come up with a CBDC that has the full faith and credit of the United States behind it? No, because no one has full faith in the United States anymore. The Fed has explored the concept of issuing a digital dollar for years, publishing research as far back as 2016. CBDCs are managed by their respective government instead of being issued by a private firm or decentralized networks. Decentralized networks are probably where it would be better to be. Powell indicated it's unclear to him why any cryptocurrency that isn't drawing on the credibility of the dollar, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, have any value at all. Because the dollar has no credibility. The credibility, as they say, has value. I've never understood the valuation of those, Powell said, regarding coins that don't have any intrinsic value, but nonetheless trade for a positive number. Legislation would provide a regulatory framework for stablecoins has been introduced on Capitol Hill several times, but they all failed to gain momentum because they'd rather talk about doing something rather than do something. 11 countries have already launched a CBDC, and nearly 90 countries are either piloting, developing, or researching a CBDC. Powell said that the Fed hasn't yet determined whether a CBDC is an innovation that's needed in the U.S., adding that the central bank is not at the stage of making any real decisions. He described the development of the CBDC as being an early experimental phase, adding the technology will take years to evaluate, then contradicted himself and said a CBDC could rapidly be rolled out if it's decided upon by Congress, which would be the worst option because a rapid rollout would have a Solana type of coin. And then there's not too much more information there. Silvergate reveals intent to wind down operations. Crypto bank Silvergate is calling it quits. The company said Wednesday intends to wind down operations and voluntarily liquidate the bank, calling it the best path forward. The bank's wind down and liquidation plan includes full repayment of all deposits, Silvergate said. The process, according to Silvergate, involves considering how to best resolve the claims and preserve the residual value of its assets, including its proprietary technology and tax assets. And then there's not too much more useful information here. It just talks about what we previously talked about. If you don't know what's going on, look at our previous videos. CFTC chair says Ethereum is a commodity despite Gensler's Bitcoin-only position. The chairman of the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, has taken a firm stance against the SEC's subtle power creep over the digital asset market. Rawson Beham told the Senate Agriculture Committee on Wednesday that Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency next to Bitcoin, is a commodity. It's been listed on CFTC exchanges for quite some time, and for that reason, said Beham, who argues that it creates a direct jurisdictional hook for the agency to police both ETH's derivatives market and underlying market. His opinion appears to directly contradict that of SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, who argued last month that everything other than Bitcoin falls under securities laws. Of course, he wants control over everything. He's evil like the Green Goblin. Would not have allowed the Ether futures product to be listed on a CFTC exchange if we did not feel strongly that it was a commodity asset, he elaborated, stating that his agency had serious legal defenses to support their case. The regulatory chiefs also disagree on stablecoins, while the SEC recently threatened to sue Paxos for issuing BUSD as an unregistered security. Bayham believes that stablecoins should be considered commodities, absent of legislation to claim otherwise. He cited an investigation into Tether during 2021 lawsuit, saying, examining the circumstances around the Tether case, it was clear to our enforcement team and the commission that the Tether stablecoin was a commodity, and we needed to move forward and swiftly to police that market, he said. Mt. Gox creditors have until Friday to file repayment claims. The rehabilitation trustee for collapsed Japanese Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox told former customers they have until Friday to register their claims for repayment under the rehabilitation plan, which he first announced last September. The original deadline of January 10th was extended by 2 months back in January. Creditors have the option to receive repayment as a lump sum, cryptocurrency repayment, bank remittance, or remittance through a money transfer service. Back in October 2021, creditors approved this proposal, which promised a reimbursement of about 90% of the assets owed to affected customers. So if you're one of the customers, you better get on this and get your money, because you almost get everything back. Coinbase announces wallet as a service, hints at household name partners. Coinbase unveiled a new service Wednesday that says they will make Web3 tech more approachable for both companies and consumers by simplifying digital wallets. This is great because that's the main bottleneck here. Wallet as a service is a set of developer tools that allow companies to embed custom digital wallets directly into their applications. The goal is to make setting up a wallet as easy as creating a username and password, Coinbase said, avoiding the technical nature of most standalone digital wallets today. This is very important because this will help with major widespread adoption. As the easier it is to use, the easier it is for people to adopt. It's basically eliminating the huge source of friction for getting Web3 adopted, Patrick McGregor said. Effectively, we've created a system to give wallets to literally every human on the planet. The company's announcement follows previous news that Coinbase will launch its own Ethereum Layer 2 network called Base, a platform that hopes to become a popular choice among developers for creating and hosting decentralized applications, or dApps. The new wallet as a service product has been in development for over a year and was designed to be use case agnostic, making it equally viable to different companies, whether they're involved in retail, gaming, or social media. So they have very wide use case, and this is very positive. We are super excited about the combination of Base and Wallet as a service, McGregor said, adding that the two products are independent, yet a significant number of potential customers are looking at a package deal that includes both products. McGregor and Coinbase wouldn't comment on specific companies that will tap into the service. However, Brian Armstrong did kind of say some. We'll get into that. I can tell you that we're working with several household name brand companies that we are going to be using this product on a very large scale, he said. This is not a science project, it's the real deal. And Brian Armstrong said Starbucks, Adidas, Nike, Coca-Cola, and other social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit, these are all integrating crypto services onto their products, and customers who use these customers who use those things are going to need a crypto wallet, he said. That's where Coinbase comes in. So not too much more there, so we'll get into the charts. So yesterday we had a spinning top candle. I got rid of our volume profile just so you can see, just barely a wick on both sides. So we'll redo that real quick, that way we have that. We are bouncing off this higher volume area right here, but we do have very low volume here on this profile. But on the larger profile, you can see we do have a sticking point right around where our breakout point is from that bear flag rather. So we could make a bounce off of that real strongly if we get down to that point around this 21.4 area, possibly even around 21.1. That would be a good area to bounce, as we do have a little bit of support here We have a little bit back from here, so there's different areas of support and resistance in this area. That's why we have the two black lines here. We are following our down channel, which is a bullish pattern. Money flow is coming out. Our momentum wave is coming down still. Our VWAP rejected across again. However, it looks like it wants to try and make somewhat of a move. If we zoom in, it is slightly heading up, so the medium term's trying to head back up. Over on the 4-hour, money flow got rejected pretty badly on that last candle. That's a couple candles, and VWAP kind of just rolled over and did not hold. Our stochastic and RSI are coming down pretty badly as we're under the neutral zone, so the bears are now in control on both the stochastic and RSI, suggesting the RSI has very little strength. Our money flow is coming out on the 4-hour, our medium-term VWAP's coming out, and our momentum wave curled over and printed a red dot, so we're not looking too good here. Over on the 2-hour, we are making a lower low on this momentum wave. Zoom in a little bit here. VWAP's coming down pretty aggressively, money flow's coming out pretty aggressively. RSI is trying to make a bounce off that neutral zone with a green dot. We'll have to see if that can sustain, but the money flow's not really coming in, so it's not looking too positive. Stochastic's coming down, so RSI is losing strength as we move here. Over on the 1-hour, money flow's coming down pretty strongly here as well, so not looking the greatest if we're going to make a recovery. We're going to want to see that money flow come up. Over on graph on the daily, we have almost made our full breakout now that I have been warning about from this pattern we had. RSI is heading down, stochastic's kind of going flat, VWAP's kind of going flat, might be, yeah, kind of more like Bitcoin trying to head up here. Our momentum wave is coming down pretty aggressively, so momentum wave isn't looking too strong right now. If we look over at the 4-hour, our money flow is coming out, so that is a bearish sign. Our stochastic is trying to curl and make a bounce off the oversold area, and our RSI is trying to curl as well after breaking down below that neutral zone. So right now the bears have control on the 4-hour here as well. Our momentum wave's coming down pretty strongly. We may get a green dot soon, but that could be invalidated if money flow doesn't come in. On the 2-hour, money flow's coming out pretty aggressively. We're getting a whole bunch of dots, just green, red, green, red, green, red. A lot of indecision there, but if you're watching the money flow, we're coming out, so that'd tell you we're going to keep coming down. VWAP is struggling to go anywhere, it's just kind of dead right now. Stochastic and RSI are heading down, kind of rejecting this neutral area, so not looking the greatest on the 2-hour here, so we may dip even lower if Bitcoin continues to fall, so we may have to reevaluate if any patterns show up. Over on XRP, we'll get rid of that line because that was just for demonstration. We are continuing our move up because of all this good news. Stochastic's heading up, VWAP's heading up, our momentum wave is heading up, but our money flow is not really coming in even though we're getting real good moves. So that's kind of weird, right? You'd expect it to start to head up. This kind of makes me think that we're not going to have a very sustained move up. We are at a good resistance area and did kind of knock down from it, so it is possible we could start to fall from here. We had a bearish divergence on our stochastic and it's starting to head down now. Our RSI and our momentum are starting to head down, our VWAP's starting to head down, and our money flow is struggling to go anywhere on the 4-hour as well. Money flow is real important if you haven't caught that by now. Money flow on the 2-hour was bullish, however it's starting to come out, so that's suggesting we could start to fall if that does break. We did break bearish, we are trying to break bullish, however that could reject. VWAP is trying to head up, but that's not looking too strong. We have a bearish divergence on our stochastic, red dot here on our waves, so a lot of bearish signals here on the 2-hour. Over on the 1-hour though, money flow is coming in pretty strongly, so if that does sustain, that could lead into the 2-hour and we could see another good pump up. Our VWAP is trying to head up. We are getting a green dot on our stochastic with a cross, so we could get a move up. And our RSI is kind of holding its ground pretty decently here. So the 1 hour is looking a little hopeful. We'll have to kind of watch if the 2 hour can pick up the slack. Over on algo, if we look at the daily here, we are falling down real aggressively in this channel. I had to resituate it there. Since we're lower here, that'd bring our breakout point lower. So we could fall or not rise back up quite as much. That is putting us barely above this low value area. We'd want to be able to hold that area if we do break above it. Money flow starting to come out. Momentum waves coming down. VWAP rejected and is coming down. And our RSI is heading down. So we're looking pretty bearish. Probably the bearish one of the day so far. Money flow is coming out pretty aggressively. Momentum wave is coming down. VWAP is pretty flat and dead. Our stochastic is coming down and is trying to make a curl off that oversold area. Our RSI is coming down. It rejected that neutral area. So we could start to lose here as the bears are starting to gain control. Over on the 2 hour, and if we do start to lose and we break down out of this channel, then the upside of this channel would be invalidated. So watch for that and make sure if you're trading off that, you have stop losses. RSI and stochastic are heading down, money flow is heading down pretty aggressively, and our momentum wave is heading down. VWAP is pretty dead, so we're not looking the greatest on the 2 hour here either. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow tried to come up, got rejected, and it's been coming down pretty hard. Momentum wave is flashing all sorts of different dots like Bitcoin, doesn't know what it wants to do. So with that money flow and the VWAP not being able to really gain any momentum here, it's looking a little more bearish than bullish right now. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.